So why we say still, that is to say they did not get any permission from the legal government of Syria. So they get any resources from Syria, we can say it's a steal. But not only steal, but also loot.
Hello everyone, welcome to Street Talk. According to the Syria Oil Ministry, Syria reached a daily oil production of more than 80,000 barrels in the first half of 2022. However, 80% of them were stolen by the U.S. occupational forces. By doing this, the U.S. is not only stealing the oil from Syria, but also further destroying this oil-rich region and the food basket of the local people's lives. Today, I will be joined by Zhou Rong. He is the Senior Research Fellow at the Chongyang Institute for Financial Studies of Renmin University of China. Good morning, Mr. Zhou. Thank you for joining us today. It is reported that the U.S. is constantly stealing oil from Syria. They have done so 7 times this month. Why are these acts defined as stolen?
Yes, we all know that the oil field is called the Azadiro oil field. It belongs the sovereignty of Arabic Syrian Republic. But right now, American troops have never got any permission from the legitimate Syrian government. Then they illegitimate occupied that area for a long time, so-called for counter-terrorists. But right now we all know Islamic State has ended their days. There's almost no Islamic terrorist organization. So America has no reason, even at that time they got no permission from the Syrian government. How can they just get oil from that oil field to some other country to sell, to smuggle that? How can that be regarded as reasonable, as something like justice? No. So why we say still, that is to say they did not get any permission from the legal government of Syria. So they get any resources from Syria, we can say it's a steal. But not only steal, but also loot. Because they not only steal, that steal we have to say is under the dark. Right now they do that openly. That is not only steal, but also loot.
As we know, the U.S. is already the top oil producer in the world. So why does the U.S. continue to steal oil from Syria?
Yes, of course we know that the United States never lack of oil. Even in 1973, that is, they got sanctions from the Gulf countries. They still do not lack oil. And of course, right now they have the more oil fields. They explore more new oil fields, and they even export oil. But the reason why they try to steal the oil from the Azadiro oil field of the Syria is because their strategic objective is to weaken Syrian current incumbent government as much as possible. That they don't want Syria to recover from the war. They don't want Syria to heal the wounds of the war. They don't care about whether Syria's refugees can still suffer day by day, and they don't care whether Syrian people have the job to do. They don't want the Syrian current government to have any income to recover from the war. So we can't deny that some of the 900 military personnel wanted to make money by illegal smuggling oil, to get some profit. But I don't really think that the Pentagon and the White House are innocent on that. Actually, they hint and they encourage the 900 officers and soldiers of the American military in Syria to do that. They encourage that. Otherwise, why? Sometimes they stop, but sometimes they continue. I'm sure they will continue to do that. If they face harsh criticism, denouncement from the international society, they may sometimes to pause certain degree, and then they will do it again.
How will the U.S. oil theft affect people's lives and economy in Syria?
Right now, most of the areas has been liberated or occupied by Syria National Army, except one small patch of territory in northeast of Syria, such as Deir ez-Zor, Raqqa, the provinces of some that. But unfortunately, most of the oil field of Syria located in that area. And for that, you see, we just mentioned something. That oil field, Azadiro oil field, can produce about 80,000 barrels. So that is very, very important for the budget the expenses of Syrian government to start reconstruction project. Right now, the reconstruction project has not started. One of the reasons is because of Syrian government lack of the money. But money where they can get from international aid, Syria is not as poor as Afghanistan. Syria has oil field, and Syria used to export oil and used to export oil. Right now, if that kind of oil field is not occupied, and if the oil is not stolen by American, if the Syrian government can have the sovereignty, having the full sovereignty of full administration over that oil field. So that oil field can produce a lot of income, produce a lot of foreign currencies by exploring itself by Syrian people. So if Syrian government can get kind of the income, it can cover most of the infrastructure project as well as some social service. So that is very important. Right now, Syrian government really wanted to alleviate the poverty and also try to rescue the refugee. But unfortunately, they don't have enough money to do that. The reason for that is that they cannot get enough money because American illegal occupation of the oil field, because American illegally steal and lose the oil resources over there.
The U.S. oil stealing is not only theft but also banditry, said Professor Zhou in his analysis of the current situation. The U.S. should look in the mirror before chanting its so-called rule-based order and correct its wrongdoings at once. Thank you for watching Straight Talk. Stay tuned for our next episode.